South Africans overseas are casting their votes today. In Uganda, Ssenyange is at the South African High Commission in Kampala. We're live to him now. Good afternoon, Leon. How's that vote progressing in Kampala this afternoon?
Well, a very good afternoon it is here in the capital, Kampala. I'm actually at the South African High Commission in the capital. It's been a very smooth day here with a couple of the South African nationals coming through to cast their vote. Of course, 82 were registered from here, and what I've been told so far is that just about 68 have been able to go through the process. It was a very smooth process, many of them spending less than 2 minutes casting their vote. And yes, the presiding officers here are pleased with the way things have gone, and with a couple of just about an hour and a half until the closure, which will be 7 p.m. local time. A few more are expected to stroll in, and those will be, of course, the final lot.
68 of the 82 South Africans registered to vote have made their mark already. That's a very small group, so it's easy to gauge their mood as they walk to the polling booths this afternoon. What are they saying about the developments on the home front, and what are their expectations post-election?
Well, a small group, you say, but what I've learned is that there are just about 200 registered or known South African nationals living and working in Uganda. So, of course, the comparison of about 82 coming to cast their vote here is quite reasonably an impressive number. But yes, for the few that we saw coming through, they seemed excited about taking part in this particular process. Of course, it's a civic right that they are entitled to. Many were looking forward to having a very different approach towards how South African politics and governance will be going henceforth. We spoke to one student who was called Nefla Maluleka. He told me that it is very important that at least things change for individuals like him who is a student. We spoke to a few others who are looking forward to having things, issues like corruption change, probably put to an end, issues of employment coming very much to the forth of South Africans over the next so many or 5 years of whoever takes on in the National Assembly. So, of course, the anticipation for many was quite that of excitement, taking part in the process, but very much so very optimistic about what should be done going forward.
Leon, South Africa and Uganda have always enjoyed fraternal, cordial relations. What is it about Uganda that attracts this number of South Africans at this juncture?
Well, just to take you back to the relationship between Uganda and South Africa, many may actually think that it is one of those boardroom kind of decisions. Unfortunately, it's not. It is a relationship that starts from way back in the freedom fight. And for many, today is a very big day as it's a celebration of the Freedom Day. But for Uganda and South Africa, Uganda quite much helped in the process of training officers that went on to fight for the liberation of South Africa. Now, that is where exactly the relationship starts. But yes, it has grown further in the political sense. It has grown further in the economic sense. Uganda now trades quite a lot with South Africa. In terms of tourism, the two countries are working quite well. In terms of education, of course, there are several Ugandans who are studying in South Africa. And yes, this relationship has grown further. And just as well, the university here, the biggest university, Makerere University, was honored the late Winnie Mandela for her efforts in the struggle. So yes, of course, the relationship between the two countries is one that has not just been built recently, but one that comes from very far back then. And yes, it goes on to say that the two countries will probably, of course, keep going on this particular path.
Leon, it is Freedom Day here at home, like you've mentioned. How are South Africans in Uganda relating to the day we're celebrating here at home? What meaning and relevance does it hold for them? And do you see this being factored into their mood?
Yes, of course, it impacts into their mood. The celebrations in Uganda were held on Friday night. Of course, that very day was very important. The celebration yesterday was very important to the nationals living here. But just how much it impacts on the South Africans, it again goes back to much of the relationship between Uganda and South Africa. The relationship therein, of course, is about the struggle, and many relate with this kind of struggle, very much so Uganda having had its own struggles and South Africa coming through to help. So yes, the mood in therein is quite about the relationship and how the struggle impacts the history between these two countries. But how it affects it comes into this with the voting today. Yes, many of course walking through here and excited about celebrating the Freedom Day, and it comes on a day on which South Africa 25 years ago of course held its first democratic election. So it's a very important day, and one that many South Africans here in Kampala very much wanted to relate with.
Well, that was Ssenyange joining us from Kampala in Uganda, where 68 South Africans have showed up to make their mark in the national election.